What is this weird place? Who is that strange figure shrouded in the mists?
Hi, I'm Captain Oblivion. You are asleep now.
Oh.
I have many wonderful dreams for you.
Oh.
Here's a lovely one.
Oh.
If anyone offers you a Muggles, decline politely. Or if you were to smoke this seemingly innocent little hand-rolled cigarette, you might find yourself suffering a greater or lesser distortion of your visual and auditory perceptions. A minute might seem like an hour. Music might sound strangely beautiful. You might feel disembodied, boundless, spinning helplessly through space in free fall, every atom of your being ringing with sweet joy. So watch it, kids. Life is serious business. Don't waste time on weird kicks. Learn to say no and say it often. A message in your interest from your government. Your broadcasting system.
KNOW.
Dome City.
This is Wallo Anchorman for your broadcasting system with the Dope on Dope and Dope Doops. In a moment, you will hear the voices of actual dope fiends recorded on the spot in a typical underdog pad, where actual living members of the Pippie subcult spend their days and nights in a drugged stupor. We will also hear from Dr. Charlatan Megabunk of the Ministry of Dope, the neo-scientific agency through which your government wages its courageous war to convince the vast mass of perfectly normal grown-ups that dope has destroyed their children's sanity. We will hear secret Dissent Squad tapes proving conclusively that dope fiends are out of their minds, and Fuzzy Cogitator will interview grown-ups, government authorities, and young dupes in a desperate attempt by your broadcasting system to cast some light of understanding, however dim, upon a dark, strange, and weirdly fascinating facet of our culture as we know it. But first, this message.
Well, gee, I guess I'm just too shy to score.
What you say, you buddy, is Ballz!
Ballz, the masculine, protective dearoma and cream.
You know that Ballz helps you get what you want. Ballz makes you really stand out. Squeeze it right out of the tube and rub it around and about. Smell it, what a masculine scent. You'll wonder where the odor went. You'll find that Ballz keeps that intimate part of you fresh and sweet, and you know that it's hard to do. Ballz is like nothing you've ever tried. You'll feel yourself swelling with pride. Ballz! What you need to get what you want!
Dissent Squad, the brave men in the front lines of your government struggle to protect itself from the rising tide of disaffection which is sweeping Radioland. And among those brave men, Nerd Nork Narco. In real life, a hard-hitting special agent, but when called upon to perform duties above and beyond his capacity, Super Guy! More powerful than a local police force. As you may have difficulty in recalling, in our last episode of Dissent Squad, Super Guy in his everyday guise as Nerd Nork Narco was being briefed by his chief, Inspector Buster Heads of the Federal Bureau of Drawers, where a dossier is kept on everybody.
Nerd, as you know, there's a plague on in our land.
Right.
Yes. A powerful narcotic with intensive dream-inducing powers has gained great popularity among the youth of Babylon.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yes, this is causing them to lose sight of the life goals we have set for them. And in extreme cases, even to drop out of the wage-price spiral to live God knows how, but not by doing any work, that's for sure. Now, this hallucinogenic agent goes by the name of LSD, which, as you know, means he is God in Esperanto. So you can see what we're up against.
Wow.
Now, this dope is supposed to give you a so-called, spiritual experience. well, anyway, I've been listening to this radio serial, I Love It Entirely. And I'm pretty sure this I Love It Entirely gang is up to something funny. Your duty, nerd. Check out an unmarked government vehicle and get hot on the trail to I Love It Entirely gang.
Check, Inspector. I'll keep in touch with you through my belt buckle transmitter.
And take that young rookie Jeepers with you. He needs the experience.
Check, Inspector.
And be careful. You're no good to us, you know, once you've had one of them so-called spiritual experiences.
Don't worry, Chief.
Yeah.
In one of my former lives, I was known as Stiff Arrow.
Is Nerd Nork kidding? Was he really Stiff Arrow, the bygone hero of another radio serial on this very same station in a former life? How about the I Love It Entirely gang? Are they really up to something funny? Is Nerd in danger of a deep spiritual experience? Tune in to the next exciting installment of this deadly serious radio adventure serial when you will hear Nerd Nork say...
I think I'll turn on the radio and see if I can figure out what's going on.
Tune in again next time for more exciting radio adventures on Dissent Squad. Your announcer has been Peter Peckerless.
Give your mind away, backsteady bliss. You don't know you feel, backsteady bliss. You find your mind on a flyer as your head goes higher and higher. Pakistani Bliss, Pakistani Bliss. You see that the word really mellow. You're a red fine fellow. Let's have another toast. Pakistani Bliss, leave your mind at rest. You find your mind on a flyer, as your head goes higher. You see that the word really mellow. You're a red fine fellow. Everybody toast. Toke up now. Let's have a hit of hashish.
This is Wallo, Anchorman, once again, ladies and gentlemen of the Radioland listening audience, with your broadcasting system special report, the Dope on Dope and Dope Doops. Those of us who know better than to ever allow our consciousnesses to be altered in any way frequently find ourselves floundering hopelessly in ignorance and confusion. Certainly, one of the best ways to gain sure knowledge of any subject is to go to the expert. And your government, of course, has the best experts that money can buy working for it. Sometime earlier, your reporter, Fuzzy Cogitator, interviewed the government's leading expert on dope, Dr. Charlatan Megabunk of the Department of Psychedelic Euphoria, the source of all official information concerning the scourge of dope, which is sweeping Radioland.
Thank you, Wallo. This is Fuzzy Cogitator with Dr. Charlatan Megabunk of the Department of Psychedelia Euphoria, the agent through which your government fights its never-ending battle against the scourge of dream inducement. I see, Dr. Megabunk, that your assistants there in the background are courageously risking their minds in a brave attempt, or attempts as the case may be, to delve into the remotest recesses of the brain through the use of the dread scourge of civilization, hashish.
Yes, Fuzzy. And indeed it is dope, as the people of Radioland may be beginning to realize, is the mind-altering scourge deriving either from nature or the laboratory, which tends to make its user see things differently than he did before, while simultaneously sending thrills of one sort or another coursing through his body. The dupe may see the world as strangely beautiful, a possibly fatal misapperception given the stark and terrible reality of modern life. Fortunately, however, even the most hopelessly addicted of addicts can be cured by electric shock therapy or the use of nausea-inducing drugs, especially if his regular supply of dope can be interrupted in some way, preferably by having the parents of these misguided youngsters turn their children over to us to do what is necessary to effectuate a cure. Most parents are quite willing to do this, since we are experts, of course, and know a great deal more about everything than they do. We have run many experiments in our laboratories, for instance, giving massive overdoses of various dopes to mice and guinea pigs, causing them to stumble about in a stupor, seemingly without fear, no longer even interested in pressing the levers which we have provided for them.
Do those who are cured stay cured?
Well, not very many of them, I'm afraid, Fuzzy. As soon as they're outside of our control, they slip back into their evil ways, lolling about, stoned out, laughing uproariously at everything and anything.
Well, what does dope actually do to the mind, Doctor?
Well, it certainly confuses the mind, that's for certain. When human subjects get stoned under laboratory conditions, laboratories licensed by your government, of course, they frequently simply laugh at our attempts to conduct a serious investigation of just exactly what dope does to the mind. They don't seem to know or care that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
What sort of substances, Doctor, are used to alter one's feelings illegally?
Illegally? Well, there's savage honey, a real mellow keef from Morocco. It's beigish in color and crumbly and gives you this utterly serene high. Then in grass, there's Panama Red for a real powerful wallop. Looks like regular pot, only it's red and has this exquisite aroma. But if anybody offers you a hit of Nepalese Bliss, a black tarry hashish with white streaks of opium ash running through it, you'd better turn it down unless you really want to get off, because that stuff is so strong it's religious.
Thank you, Doctor. This is Fuzzy Cogitator. Back to Radio Command.
Thank you, Fuzzy Cogitator. More dope on dope and dope dupes in 1 moment.
This is Wilson Buckafella asking all of you good folks out there in Radioland to keep your faith in our wonderful system of massive production and profitability in partnership with enlightened legalism. Pay no attention to those who say that capitalism is collapsing and civilization as we know it is doomed. Despite the plummeting market, I am buying. and I urge those of you who have any money left to do the same, as I am confident that although a few marginal holders may be liquidated, our system itself is fundamentally sound. I will retain and perhaps even augment my vast fortune. So pay no attention to those who urge you to take your money out of the bank immediately for fear they will fail. Pay no attention to those rumors that the banks don't have enough money. Remember, your government itself would have to fail before the banks would fail. So keep working for money and put your money in the bank. This has been Wilson Buckafella. Thanks.
As many Radiolanders know only all too well, many young people throughout Radioland are doing dope. Bill Blab with a grown-up.
This is Bill Blab, folks, with a poor normal Radioland mother who's wondering why her life is such a hell. Your name, madam?
My name is Dora, Mrs. Dora Doddard, and I am a perfectly normal grown-up, and I've always done what I was told. I go to church every Sunday, although it certainly is getting hard to believe in God, what with all the things that are going on. And we always pay our taxes, of course. Of course, your government takes it automatically. And I've always tried to adapt my opinions to fit those of the Gullah Pole.
Well, have you ever had any personal experience with the scourge of dope in your home?
Oh, yes, I'm afraid so. While going through my son Bub's drawers one day looking for naughty pictures or other forbidden articles, I found this little bag of, well, they look like tea leaves. Well, I was really shocked and grieved to think that my Bubby would do something that your government tells us over and over is bad. And certainly your government wouldn't lie to us, the people of Radioland. So, together with his stepfather and our clergyman and a police officer, I confronted Bubby with the horrid stuff and asked him, why?
And what was his reply?
He said he dug it, and it was really mellow, and we should try some and see for ourselves. Naturally, I told him if your government wanted us to see for ourselves, it wouldn't have made it illegal.
Well, what was the outcome, Mrs. Doddard?
Well, Bub is doing 5 to 20 now. And I'm sure when he gets out, he will be rehabilitated. But I sure miss him.
Sure you do.
Yeah, after all, he's my little baby. But dope was turning him against the war and everything. So what could I do?
What could you do?
I had to turn him in. It was my duty as a good citizen. After all, he'll only be 40 or so when he gets out. Still a relatively young man.
Relatively young man.
And if our entire system of industrial expansionism under benevolent legalism is still standing, well, I'm sure he'll be able to get a real good job making twine somewhere. Poor booby.
Another story of tragedy and heartache because of the evil weed. This is Bill Blab, back now to Wallo Anchorman.
Thank you, Bill Blab. Stay tuned for more of your broadcasting system's probing investigation into the dope and dissent dilemma.
A bunch of the guys and gals were sitting around rapping.
Rap, 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 rap. Rap, 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 rap,
How about smoking up the hash pipe?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Here's a hit of dope.
Oh, well, I haven't been stoned in,
Must be 15 minutes.
I can't even keep track of it.
This is a bummer.
Here, I'll light it.
Oh, mellow. Come on, wow. Beautiful.
Oh, that's
fuck. Oh, fuck.
Oh, too much.
Oh, I'm so hot. I really feel wonderful.
Marijuana is dangerous, kids, because its use may lead to happiness. And if you were happy, you might let your guard down, and then they'd get you. Yes, they'd get you. So stay on your guard. Remember, your best friend may be your worst enemy. A message in your interest from your government.
And called up the police. Said, I want to go. So they sent out a policeman. The policeman took him down to jail, and they took him up before the judge. And he was sentenced to prison for life. So they took him up to prison where there was nothing to do, and he was let off on good behavior.
KNOW Radio Good Neighbor Message Time with a reminder that today's National Penal Institution Day. So support your local penal institution, where those who take things they haven't paid for are sent to teach them to do without. Remember, without punishment, there can be no redemption, so support your government's efforts to redeem those who strike out against society as we know it. And above all, don't you do anything you shouldn't do, or your government may have to lock you up for your own good. This has been a KNOW Good Neighbor Message.
Now number one on the KNOW Keep Knocking on Wood hit happening chart and rising higher every day, David Mountain and Smokin My Dope.
look pretty glum right now, but we at KNOW Radio feel sure if we keep talking loud enough and fast enough, everything will be all right. So if you'll just stay tuned, folks, we'll keep on talking. Yes, it's non-stop sound at KNOW Radio!
Ring around the rosies, ring around the rosies, ring around the rosies, ring around the rosies. Who's that wicked-looking man over there? Who is it?
Hey, kids, come here a minute. I got a good thing for you. I'm a Salvatore Scungio, and I'm gonna bring you something from the old country.
What is it?
Some Pakistani Bliss or hashish to blow your head right off. I brought it from the real old country. Ah, come on, kids. You like it? Come on.
The man on the radio always said to say no. No, we're not supposed to.
Good for you, kids, and all of you other kids out there in Radioland. Support your government's seemingly hopeless struggle against the scourge of expanding consciousness, which is sweeping Radioland. Learn to say no, and say it often. A message from your government hand to hand with the Advertising Services Service of Babylon.
This is Wallo Anchorman once again with your broadcasting system special, Dope on Dope and Dope Doops. Our intrepid reporter, Fuzzy Cogitator, is at this moment completely surrounded by dope fiends, and is himself cleverly disguised as a dope fiend, courageously bringing you live, on-the-spot coverage of life in the dope-crazed depths of the Pippie Netherworld. Fuzzy?
This is your reporter, Fuzzy Cogitator, in a typical Pippie underdog pad, where a number of dope-crazed Pippies are lolling about in their outlandishly colorful, handcrafted clothing and long-flowing locks of hair, listening to their strange, mind-boggling music and oohing and awing and laughing uproariously, oftentimes over most serious matters. Candles and incense are burning about. The walls are covered with crude, though colorful hand-scrawled psychedelic drawings. I've managed to gain admittance to this pad, cleverly disguised in a long wig and Bermuda shorts, by feigning friendship. My microphone is concealed in a banana. I will attempt to engage one of these unsuspecting dope dupes in a conversation. Here's one now, in long flowing hair and Bermuda shorts, curled over on the couch, seemingly talking to his belt buckle. No doubt hopelessly dazed by some powerful narcotic. Your name, sir?
Me? Why, I'm Nerd. That is, pay no attention to that slip of the tongue. Sometimes I think my name is Nerd North, but in real life, I'm known as Pomegranate. Pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
You know, they're full of seeds. We Pippies oftentimes give ourselves outlandish, though colorful names, having no relation whatsoever to the good Extian names we were born with, to show the world how simple and sweet we are and how we're better than anybody else.
I see. I mean, well, yes, we do, don't we? Yeah, well, yeah. Yes, my name is, Banana. Banana, yes, Banana.
Well, hi, Banana.
Hi, Pomegranate. Sure, some good dope here at this typical Pippie Netherworld dope den, isn't it?
Sure. I myself am seeking a deep spiritual experience. You wouldn't be holding, would you?
Holding?
Yeah, you know, a Muggles. I sure would dig to blow some tea.
Oh, you want to blow some tea?
Oh, sure. You know, I want to alter my consciousness naturally. I want to get stoned.
Yeah.
Really far out, man. Groovy. Mellow. Mellow.
Yeah.
I want to really dig, if you know what I mean.
Dig, right, yeah. I can dig that, yeah. Well, as you see, ladies and gentlemen, and it is virtually impossible to communicate with these dope-crazed people here in the Pippie Netherworld. Dope-crazed as they are, only able to mutter confusedly and stumble about in dope-induced stupor, wondering where their next high is coming from.
Chief, this is Nerd, Chief. I've engaged one of the unsuspecting Pippies in conversation, and I'm wheedling information out of him. Boy, is he stoned, Chief. You ought to see him talking to his banana.
Pomegranate is apparently tripped out, blabbering incoherently to his belt buckle.
I ain't talking to my belt buckle, wise guy. I'm just curling up here and, I'm meditating. Yeah, I'm meditating. Can't you tell Yogo when you see it? You should talk, boy, you and your banana.
Fearing discovery, I will sign off now. This is Fuzzy Cogitator, passing as a dope-crazed Pippie. Bananas, deep in the murky depths of the Pippie Netherworld.
You better sign off, buddy, before they lock you up.
Yogo, oh, my behind.
Yeah.
To achieve Zing delightment, count the number of times the sun dances upon the water while breathing regularly in and out.
In a moment, Wallo Anchorman with all the news you need to know. But first, this vital message in your interest. Say, Radiolanders, your government is in desperate straits. Don't be so foolhardy as to turn your back on it. Be smart. Get behind your government and push. A message in the public interest. And now the backside of the news with Wallo Anchorman.
Good evening, this is Wallo Anchorman. Two little girls, Little Miss Mary Sunshine, 9, and Susie Darling, 11, were machine gunned to death by Green City Police yesterday afternoon while voluntarily picking up litter in Flintlock Park near their homes in a spontaneous and childlike, though perhaps rather naive, effort to beautify their environment.
We were fired on by snipers!
Stated Police Sergeant Pig Fat.
Besides, it's against municipal statute to collect trash without paying your local government and its representatives the necessary fees, licenses, and honorariums necessary in order to ensure the continuance of our present system of government busyness forever. We simply cannot allow the law to be humiliated and defeated by anyone, no matter how youthful or innocent. Why, what would happen to our holy and benevolent system of order and obedience if people do anything they wanted to do without asking permission of your duly constituted higher authorities first?
I was just trying to make the world a little better place.
Gasped little Mary just before the last convulsion of her torn heart gushed a fountain of blood from her mouth, stilling her small voice forever. Her father, upon being revived, had this to say.
Of course, if she was doing something against the law...
A group of concerned academics calling themselves the Bleating Hearts is debating saying something nasty about the untoward event. More news in a moment. First, this word.
Mineral Crunchies, so good for you. Mineral Crunchies, such fun to chew. They're pretty sweet and pretty digested, and they're patriotic too. Mineral Crunchies are red, white, and blue.
Yeah! And remember, mothers, Mineral Crunchies were designed by computer for your government's robot space probes, so you know they're almost perfect.
Mineral Crunchies, now don't you waste them. They're so good, you can almost taste them. They're pretty sweet and pretty digested, and they're patriotic too. Mineral Crunchies are red, white, and blue.
Fluvium Incorporated, world's leading manufacturer of pollutants, announced plans today to build a giant new pestilence plant just northwest of Flower City, directly in the path of the prevailing winds. Flatulent Aura, president of the firm, a wholly owned subsidiary of Mammoth Gantry Incorporated, together with his board of directors, had this to say in reply to charges by a group of concerned human beings who claim that the construction of the plant will result in the death of all life.
We can do anything we feel like doing and tough poop on everybody.
This has been Wallo Anchorman with all the news you need to know. Stay tuned for the inspirational message which follows immediately.
Hi there. This is Jesus X, founding partner of Radioland's leading religion, Xtianism. Dad sent me here to talk with you about giving him your total fealty and unquestioning faith. But don't think we're asking you to give something while expecting nothing in return. That's just not the Xtian way. If you contact Dad right now, through either Mom or myself, offering him the balance of your life, upon the completion of the contract period, we'll be glad to guarantee you eternal life up here in heaven with us. For further information about this generous offer, why not contact the friendly folks down at your nearby New Action Church?
Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What's the matter, Madge? Oh, Thelma, I've got this little ball of cells growing inside of my tummy. And if I don't act soon, it may turn into a baby.
Gee, Madge, why don't you get a PT? Reverend Humble of your New Action Church can arrange it quick and easy.
What's a PT, Thelma?
That's short for Pregnancy Termination, Madge. And your new improved Action Church, hand-to-hand with your Radioland Disease Association, can eradicate any unwanted life that you may be harboring in your body with absolutely no danger whatsoever to your health, well-being, or soul. Reverend Humble, your key new action preacher, can explain the whole idea.
Sit down, Madge.
Gee, Reverend Humble.
Just call me Hum, Madge.
Oh, all right, Hum. You see, I've got this little ball of cells.
I understand perfectly, Madge, and I sympathize 100%. Why should an active, modern young woman like yourself let procreation interfere with her sex life?
Can you help me, Reverend?
Certainly. Dr. Fester of the university will perform the necessary fetal elimination in the back seat of his automobile. Strictly confidential, no one ever need know, and the cost is a mere exorbitant fee. I'll arrange it immediately.
Gee, thanks, Hum. But gosh, I didn't know the church went in for this kind of thing.
Well, we of the New Action Church believe that it is our holy mission to help out our fellow human beings, no matter how low or degenerate they may be. By their good works shall ye know them, lest any man boast. And you can see by our own good works how wonderful we are. You see, we no longer try to pull the wool over people's eyes with that old spirituality stuff. No, we're the new Action Church. Our job in today's world is revolution.
That night, in the back seat of a car just off a lonely stretch of freeway.
You need have no fear, Madge. I am a doctor, and as you know, we doctors are holy and benevolent. We never make mistakes, and it's manifest by our enormous incomes that we're very valuable to society. Now kindly lift your legs just a trifle. That's right. You know, this wonderful new drug, no mind at all, only recently developed by your government, which Nurse Nummy is now injecting into your veins, will soon render you absolutely insensible. At which point, I'll merely insert this handsome stainless steel Woom-Zoom fetal plunger, and your unfortunate and inconvenient pregnancy will be cut off mercilessly.
Doctor, I seem to be fading away.
Yes, my dear, you're asleep now. Oh, nurse?
Yes, Doctor?
Woom-Zoom? Woom-Zoom?
Woom-Zoom.
Oh, dear me. Here we go. Oh, here he comes. There the little bugger is. Oh, yes, here he is. No doubt his consciousness is on a plane so far removed from ours that the death for it is merely one more unfathomable experience. No need at all for us to trouble our minds. Oh, nurse, a sloppo bag.
Sloppo bag.
Thank you, nurse. Oh, there we go. Well, it's wonderful to be able to do good and make money, too.
Hi, Madge. Gee, you look great. Hi, Thelma. I feel great, too. And me and my rowdy have missed a single night of fun thanks to Reverend Humble and our new improved Action Church.
Yes, guys and gals, why don't you do as Madge and Thelma have done and get with the new Action Church in your neighborhood? It's the church that really does things to people.
Wallo Anchorman again. As the scourge of dope has swept Radioland, a sort of renaissance of popular artistry has taken place, and the young, who are now almost universally dope fiends, have created a new culture, deriving much of its iconography from myths of their own creation. Some brave grown-ups struggling manfully to defend the values of the world that gave us the atom bomb and gigantic industrialism and universal training and good manners and a regular paycheck have belatedly come to the realization that the young of Radioland use music and song as a means of communication. The Reverend Billy Boy Fungus of the Deep South is traveling the land and alarming parents and other grown-ups to what he believes is an international plot to undermine the moral fervor of the youth of Radioland by teaching them to laugh at all established authority, to jitterbug like wild savages, and to understand the meaning of poetry, which is meaningless to grown-ups. A plot the existence of which he purports to prove by using actual music popular with young people. Blinky Brains with Reverend Fungus.
This is Blinky Brains with Reverend Billy Boy Fungus of the Southern Duncats, who is leading something of a crusade against the music and mores of the young. Reverend Fungus, do you really believe there are secret mind-writing messages woven into the music of the young?
You're dang tootin' I believe it, and I can prove it. Why, agents of red porcelain are deliberately flooding Radioland with subversive messages for our young folks. Tell them just to loll around in a stupor of dope and indolence all day long without a care in the world, never doing a lick of work, undermining our young'uns' faith in our wonderful way of doing things. Just give a listen to this.
You hear that? Fuzz. They say Fuzz. That's a pseudo-intellectual, pointy-head, denigrative term for our loyal police officer corps.
Took my stash away.
Stash, you hear that? Stash, that's nothing but the killer drug itself.
Said the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Said the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away.
Fuzz, there it goes again. Now that stash again. Now listen to the rest of this.
Yeah, the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. I don't know what it was that I done wrong. 'Twas a man in blue that I turned on, and the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Said the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. And the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Yeah, and the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Oh, just trying out a brand new can when a man walked in with a wand in his hand. The Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. Boom, boom. Said the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away. And the Fuzz walked in and took my stash away, and me with it.
Although the dope and dissent dilemmas have nonplussed leading authorities everywhere, your broadcasting system's trained commentator, Eros Blinded, offers the following penetrating analysis.
Once more, as in the past, as indeed throughout the recent history, both economic, social, and military, of this beleaguered nation, we, the endlessly patient, generous, and understanding people of Radioland, face what may prove to be the potentially ultimate crisis. It is with a deep sense of sorrow, disbelief, and repugnance that I share with you my trenchant thoughts regarding this current dilemma. A dilemma indeed like and yet unlike any we have faced thus far and may have to face again in the future. A future clouded even more by this unhappy and disquieting intelligence. We face on this day a situation not entirely dissimilar to that fisherman of legend who, upon arising one summer morn, found a seagull at his door. The fisherman asked the seagull what business it had with him, to which the seagull replied, "The lion could not come." This is Eros Blinded. Good evening.
Well, there you have it. Decide for yourselves. Is or is not dope the scourge of Radioland? Think it over. And now, before we sign off, one last message from Legal General Muddle of the Ministry of Judgment.
You better not crash, better hide all your stash, 'cause your name's on a page, in a book, in a drawer, and someday we'll come round, knock, knock, knocking at your door, and get you all the same, 'cause we know every doper's name, 'cause we know every doper's name.
This has been Dope on Dope and Dope Dupes from Hevy Gunz. And now, eternity. The preceding program was transcribed earlier for broadcast at this time.